Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Resource Podcast Mentorship with Daily Refinement. We do this Monday through Friday, and on Wednesday, we do it live on YouTube. Today, I want to talk about why I love reselling and maybe why you guys love reselling. So, first off, before the call, you guys were talking about how expensive things are. In the Bay Area, all of the sports teams are insanely expensive. Like if you go to a Giants game, a hot dog and a soda is like $40. It's very, very, very expensive. Even the A's are, we won't talk about the A's, but as far as the sports teams goes here, if you everything is hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars. Like just to give you an idea of the high end, if you go to a 49ers game, a suite is I think $125,000 a game. It's $1 million for one season and it's only 8 games. So I remember one time I went and a guy said, Chris, this is the closest you're ever going to feel to being the 1%, because somebody invited me and it was like lunch was $8,000. Like things are so expensive now. Groceries, what's everyone's last grocery bill? It's a lot, right? I feel like I'm doing pretty good, but I can't really eat out. It's like so painful to eat with two people or with a family, and it's like $80 to $100 for a basic meal. So anyway, that's the reason why I love reselling is you could just sell more stuff and still buy anything you want. It's a grind, but at least it's an option. When you are working for somebody else, you do not have the option to just double your income like you can with reselling. You could, everyone listening right now, you guys could sell twice as many things and make twice as much. So the grocery bill is high. Gas here is $6. I don't know what is gas for you guys right now. It's ridiculously expensive. Everything. People are saying $3 to $4, but I'm just so grateful that you can sell more stuff. That's the only savior. You can sell more stuff and pay more bills. Wow, it's $4 for Juanita. It's just a lot. I want everyone to just, for me, I'm just going to start and say I'm grateful that we can always sell more stuff. Yesterday, I unloaded. Let me just look really quick. 18, 23, 29,000 items into my warehouse. That's a lot. It's like 33 pallets or something like that. And right now, I think is going to be one of the biggest opportunities for reselling ever, because a lot of people are distracted with AI. And I think AI eventually will be good, but right now it's not good. So if everyone here wants to just pay attention for the next 1 year, make as much money as possible before the robots take over, I'm finding just the reselling competition is less than before. It's crowded between $6 and $20. Above $20, not really crowded at all, really. When you guys are looking up comps and you see something expensive, is there really that many people that have something the same as you? Not really. Like Tech was making the point that he just found a Carhartt jacket in his last video. And then after that, 10 other people found a Carhartt jacket. And I was just thinking, are you guys not looking for that? I think I found a Carhartt jacket every week for 2 years in a row at the flea market. Every single week I find one. So Ryan is asking, will reselling be lost to AI? No, it won't be, because reselling is mostly pre-owned. So reselling is always going to be around because somebody's going to buy something brand new and they're going to throw it away or donate it or give it to a friend or consign it, and then you have a job. AI is going to be used mainly for new items, scale. It's not going to be used for one-off items. When a robot could compute millions of things at once, why do they want to use it for one at a time? That's one of the last applications. The truck driver that delivered goods for me. Like I think something crazy like 4% of all jobs are truck drivers or something like that. That's a good job. That job could go away with AI, actually. Reselling, I don't think so, because it's too hard to describe the item properly. Kevin said he had that jacket originally when it was cool, and he sold it for $200 this weekend. I know those Carhartt jackets, I feel like they were under $100 new. And then people wore them for 20 years, and then, or 10 or 5, and it's got a nice patina on it now. And now it's worth bank because teenagers think it's cool. But we should all know that in the group, you should be paying attention to all the brands we mentioned. I'm grateful that there's so many things that are $20 profit and higher that we can find, but we have to know where to look. We have to know what we're looking for. Lots of things become trendy because of Kanye. He's a trendsetter, as they say. People are saying this in the chat. Eazy-E probably did popularize that jacket. Yeah. So Ryan says he sold them in a hardware store for under 100 in the early 2000s. Yeah, lots of them are worth 300 to 500 now. But if you just turn on your radar for $20 profit and over, it'll be all you find. And it's a lot of money. You find 10 to 15 items a day that are $20 profit, you can survive. Grocery bill can go up and you can just sell 2 more items and you'll be fine. But
that's one thing I love about eBay too, is that, or reselling, is that you're always learning something new. It's not, the routine can become a grind, but you're always researching, learning new, improving, doing something better.
Yeah.
And I prefer that to just doing the same old thing day after day and not getting any further ahead.
100%. Yesterday I was like really proud of everybody in the group. I was like thinking, it's so much to learn everything. So like, as an example, you go to the thrift store, come home. The first time you do that, you just sort of like set the bag down and don't know what to do. Like if you've been doing it for a while though, when you come home, you might not even set the bag down. You might come home, there's 20 things into it. You put a few of them into the washer, you put a few of them into maybe there's a repair pile you have. Maybe you have another pile of your local friend that picks up something that sells something that you don't. You take the bag, you put it into another bag, you save your bags because you're green. Don't even set it on the floor. And you do it from your car. You take all the bags in at the same time. And then what used to take you several days takes you 10 minutes. Right? Think about how many things people have learned, all the little sorting things that you do, like which way goes to the post office so it's faster. When does your driver come so you can be done before he arrives? Which thrift store in your area is the best? Everybody here should know that, right? What thrift store in your area gives you the best results? You should have a good idea of that. Jose said, or yeah, Jose says you get what you put into it. 100%. And I was just thinking about something. Maybe you guys can think, leave the group better than you found it. Leave the call better than you found it. Leave everywhere you go better than you found it. That's something resellers can do. When you go to the thrift store, leave it better than when you got there. Be organized, be clean. And I think it just goes a long way. You treat people like that, like you want them to have a better day because they ran into you. I mean, you're unstoppable. I do believe in the thrift gods 100%. That is a real thing. They will bless you. How many times have you guys been blessed and found something ridiculous? Is anybody in the group? There's 104 people here. Has anybody found an item that's $100 profit before? Probably. Is that not insane?
Remember, I was kind of saying I paid $13.99 for a dress. It was a vintage Laura Ashley dress. it's sold in one day for $90.
There you
So
go.
that's a pretty good margin considering,
So what would you pay for that dress if you saw it again?
probably 15. I would go up to 15.
Why not more?
I'm just because I like a deal. I like to get it for cheap. I like to get it for under, I'd pay 20 to go into 100, but that's my max to go into 100.
I
It's
see.
20.
That's very
I know that's
conservative.
lame. You think I know that's not your philosophy at all.
No, it's okay. It's the fact that you can be that picky is very cool. I like it.
I
Because
mean, I just don't like paying up for stuff. It's a thrift store. It should be thrifty. Like, I like the gunny sack dress I just found for $4.99 rather than you don't go in there expecting to pay. I mean, now you do. We're being trained that it's not thrifty anymore. It's pay up. But I guess I'm getting used to it because I've been paying like my average price per item is $10 now.
well, I mean, they're rebranding. They're rebranding from thrifty to environmentally conscious people pay more.
Ugh. Then they need to clean their store a little bit more. Like it's so trashy in there, and they're like, "Oh, $50 for this dress," and you're like, "What?"
That is
It's
a good point.
Trash dump.
Some of the places do look like the dump. No offense to Goodwill bins in Santa Cruz. I don't know if anybody here has been there, but it is literally dump.
That's how the Goodwill bins are here. They're dumpy and
so
trashy.
gross.
And anyways, I have an opinion about they should act like a boutique if they're going to charge those prices.
You know,
Clean up.
the last time I went to the Santa Cruz bins was with my wife, and we got there. It smelled weird. It's super dark. It's not well lit. It's super dirty. And my wife was like, "Let's go."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Really? That's your attitude?" With like, I was expecting her to be like, "No," but she was like, "Let's do it." So I couldn't believe it.
It was
But
too dirty for her. Yeah, I feel
it
that. Like
wasn't
some
too
of my
dirty. It
friends.
wasn't too dirty for her. She was like, "This is where the gold is. Let's go digging." Like I was very surprised. And what Catherine was saying, um, you can learn cool stuff, right? I found Ralph Lauren wallpaper that sold for 150. It was awesome.
Wow.
I found Ralph Lauren wallpaper that nobody looked at because it looked like wrapping paper, but it was wallpaper, not wrapping paper. And then I learned about Loot Crate, which I didn't know about. Maybe it's not popular anymore, but I found a whole bunch of hats and accessories that sold for great. But yeah, that's it's gonna look like that. The best opportunities are gonna come from things that look like garbage.
When you first phrased your sentence, you made it sound like she said, "Let's go," as in let's leave. But what you meant was,
my
"Let's
bad.
go."
Yeah.
as in, let's do this.
My bad. Thank you, Isaiah. Yeah, she meant. Let's get in it. Jack said when he first thrifted, he encouraged his thrift book guy to price higher since he was willing to pay more than the competition. Yeah, isn't that cool? If you go somewhere and you offer to pay more, they're going to help you with a smile. Yeah, if you buy frequently, consistently, on time, that's why I try to pay my rent as early as possible, because I just feel like if an opportunity happens with my landlord, he'll offer to me first. So I get the bill like on the 27th, I pay on the 27th. So just that's free. The extra effort is free. So people keep arguing with me. Every time I say effort is free, they say, no, it isn't. It takes time. And I'm like, that is time. We have time. Kayla says one of my local Goodwills hired an ex-reseller to price their items. Ooh, interesting. Yeah, catching them slipping it's also satisfying. Trying to find a nugget that people don't know about. Like a Charvet dress shirt, very unassuming, but I find a couple a year. Worth a lot, $20 profit, no problem. Learn the cashier's name, Ryan says. I agree with that. Let's see.
Chris, now that you've moved 22,000 items into the warehouse, what has to happen next?
What happens next?
Yeah. Well, actually, can you go back to before this? Like, how did you acquire 22,000 items? Why did you acquire the 22,000 items? And then what happens next?
Okay.
How, why, and then what's next?
Okay. So how is right now, all of the spring summer season is being liquidated at all companies. So there's a lot of inventory right now. So as an example, a guy just sent me an email with 3,000 items in his eBay store. And he says his ASP is $30, but it's probably under $20. And I told him that I can't even make an offer and I wouldn't even take it for free because there's so much inventory. And the cost of sorting is so expensive that you want to avoid sorting at all costs. So let me give you guys an example. The reason why my Poshmark closet was like 1 month into it, a 6-figure profit store, is because I didn't have to do very much sorting. All the sorting was just condition, color, condition, color, condition, color. That's it. That's so easy. That makes reselling so easy. So how is I'm only looking for lots that are all the same. So as an example, I have 3 lots that are only shoes and 2 lots that are only jackets. We were going into the fall season. So when I saw those, I said, you know what? Jackets are so easy and they're all new. So I don't even need to talk about condition. It's just the color, new one, color, new one, color. It's so easy to present. It would be really, really, really easy to list on Poshmark and eBay because it's just same brand, just change the color. Same brand, change the color, change the cut. How long before you know every single thing about it? So Jocelyn was talking about getting into the item specifics, like being overly detailed. The thing is, if you are an expert, being overly detailed is not hard because you know everything. You guys remember when Seth did the coin call and he knew like 800 things about every coin? Not hard for him to write a great title or description because he knows everything about it. If you sell the same thing over and over again, you'll know everything about it. So writing a long description, it'll be a pleasure for you to do it. You won't hate it. But so how? A lot of these brands are not selling the TJ Maxx and Ross anymore. So regular people like me have an opportunity to get them. I'm considering trying to figure out how to open that up because there's more supply than I could even buy. So then it arrived, 1 truckload came. And I don't know if this is maybe beyond the information required, but pallets can be loaded into a truck straight or sideways. If they're loaded into the truck sideways, the other side of the pallet has a different opening, which is kind of silly, but pallets are not square. They're 40 by 48. So if they load it into the truck 48 by 48, that's the full width of the trailer. So it's like completely full. I bought a different forklift so that a different pallet jack so I could remove those pallets. So without that, I wouldn't have been able to unload the truck yesterday because it's just too hard. Anyway, I got 2 trailer shipments, 1 little guy and 1 53-foot truck. They came. Taylor and I unloaded all of it, but I did something very different yesterday, which I don't normally do. Normally I unload the trailer and I put it into my warehouse and that's it. I did not do that this time. This time I took everything out of the trailer and I sorted it all before putting it into my warehouse, which is literally mind-blowing to me, but I was able to do it. All of one brand is in one area. All of one category is in one area. So I reduced the amount of time I have to move things around by a lot by sorting before I brought it in. 4-way pallets are really it's called a 4-way pallet jack, and it was really a lifesaver for me because you can Although it is heavier and more cumbersome than a regular pallet jack, but very useful. But I am sore today, so I canceled my personal training. This is the first time I missed a leg day in 2023, but I'm going to go tomorrow. So yeah, I texted my trainer yesterday. Is it possible to reschedule tomorrow? And he said anything is possible. I'm like, interesting. Yeah, no leg day today, but we'll go tomorrow. But yeah, that was fun. So now that it's all there, now I have to decide, do I sell them really slowly and make all the money, or sell them quickly and just make some of the money? And I think it'll be a mix of both, because jackets are so hard to find. In this entire year, I only found 2 jacket lots. So I think I might just take my time, because we have all the way until February before it starts to warm up.
What's this lot about? What did you pull out? Like, what is it? Clothes? You plus size clothes you're doing again, or this time?
The plus size clothing, I don't know why, but it's hard to find flattering plus size clothing. You can find plus size clothing, but it's not. A lot of it looks like a blanket with armholes. I told you that before, right? It's not.
Chris.
It's not flattering.
No, it's
The plus size that's flattering is unbelievable. It sounds like crazy. How come they don't make more of it?
I don't know. How come they don't do all milk, grass fed and organic, and get rid of the other parts of the dairy industry? It's, same
No,
question.
I'm just saying, like,
Logic.
it's like, why design an ugly car? Why
I
don't
don't
you? Can you just take a little bit longer and make it look okay?
know. Ugly. They want ugly stuff out there just in case.
No, it just makes sense. Like, to me, it makes sense that, okay, let me back up. I know why. Because a blanket with armholes, right, only costs $2 to produce, and it still sells for 40. But then a well-designed one sells for 100, but then eventually goes on discount for 40 again. It's just interesting. Like, when we looked at that company, Phoenix Trading Company, yesterday, they're the number 1 plus size clothing seller. They just sell everything as a blanket with armholes. It's just plain, everything is the same. Yeah. Basics are fine. You can make millions of dollars selling basics, but I just feel like when we're out there thrifting, you have to leave that plus size basic back there and find something better. Like Chico's, Torrid, they make flattering, larger clothing, and you need to know that so you can buy it and sell it for a good price. Kayla?
Can I ask a question about buying up?
Yeah.
If we buy up on really desirable like brands or items,
Yeah.
and let's say it's in our profit goal, but we know it's gonna bring in a lot of traffic to our store, is that another thing to factor in, like the fact that you have those desirable items?
That is an indirect benefit, but not something you, in my opinion, you would purposely do that. Unless it is, the problem is when you bring in that really sweet item, if you price it well, it'll sell immediately. So it's almost like that traffic that you're trying to get is only temporary. The only way to keep it would be to like intentionally price it like a little bit above market so it never sells. And you like keep that traffic. But that marquee piece is really hard to keep in your store unless it's priced above market or at market.
That makes sense. Thank you.
You're welcome. I also think this is why plus size clothing should be flat lay. Because if you take a blanket with armholes and then you pin it on a mannequin, it does not look like that on the person. So I think you should flat lay it so that they can see what it looks like and you won't have any returns, personally. It's also ridiculously heavy. So I don't know if I want to continue doing plus size. I might just try to dominate skinnier people clothes. The bigger sizes sell better, but they're just like a lot harder to handle. They take up more space. A plus size jacket's like That is gigantic. So much stuff. So much fabric. Yes, Kevin says you can gain followers by posting quality items. Yes, definitely. Diana wears plus size, but doesn't like to sell plus size. See?
But you're still doing a plus size lot, right? On Whatnot.
I am, and I'm going to try to buy less of it, but if it's a good, it's always a good deal, which just kind of makes it hard for me, but I'll just wait for a good deal in something that I like to sell. I like selling, I'll tell you what I like selling the most of: shoes, denim, jackets, dresses. Like the best lot I ever bought was this Tanya Taylor that I bought. It's really good. Like pretty much everything sells for over $50, but it costs 15 on them. So would you do 15 into 50? Who here would do 15 into 50? It's a lot. It's a lot of money per item. But every single item sells for over 50.
Yes, if it had 100% sell-through rate, yes.
I don't know if it has a 100% sell-through rate yet, but it does have over every single item sells for over 50 because the items are between $200 and $400 retail. But it's a lot.
You know, with that, with those high prices, if I'm doing 85 a week, it gets up, you know, that's 800. That's twice as much as my budget for, you know what I mean? I have a budget of like 500 is the most I want to spend on inventory for the week. And that's not, that's why like $10 an item is not so great. Because it's going to cash flow is going to be difficult at some point. You know what I mean? Like, think about that, you know, like I liked $5 an item. That was nice.
Well, let's say you have a $15 budget. Would you guys rather have 3 5 in the 30s or 1 15 in the 50? You would make more money 5 in the 30, but you would have to do 3 times as much work. Personal preference. I think both are okay, but 15 in the 50 is harder to find, in my opinion. So I don't know. I think ideally you have enough savings to get both, but Ryan likes the 3 chances. Yeah, Scott, it does depend on sell-through rate too. There's a lot of factors. Like 15 into 50, but you have to wait a year. No, nobody would want that. But 15 into 50 in 90 days. And in autumn, when your buying budget starts to go up, it's a little scary, but because we were talking about tech with 250 items going up a day, that means he's spending more than $1,000 a day on stuff. That's $3,500 a week, Autumn. Right? So is that scary or is it just proportionally scary?
That would be scary to me, but not, I mean, not to him because it's proportional, but
yeah,
even $500 is a little bit like, whoa, but I keep riding the wave up, you know, like a surfer or whatever. I'm getting on a big wave, I'm like, if they don't crash, you know, but I'm in a wheel that I can't, like, the money has to keep flowing, you know, it's kind of pushing me up, the sales. But it's also very, you know, it's changed so much because back in the day, you could thrift anything for $5, $3.
Yeah.
Nothing was overpriced. They didn't know any of these brands. And in a way, it was much easier because it was lying everywhere and you didn't even need a smartphone. You just grabbed it all and put it all online and it sold, and you could sell anything would sell because it just was different. The competition was different. The market was very different.
I still think it's easier now.
I agree with you in a way because of all the advantages we have now, but the easier is relative to, I don't know. It's easier now. More people can, it's more accessible.
I define easier as more money and less time. So I think you can make more money in less time now. However, maybe the front loading is
tech,
heavy.
yes.
The front loading is heavy.
Right.
Ryan?
You know, and I think we need to remember perspective too, because like, think about if we weren't talking about reselling goods, most likely used goods, if you went to your fiduciary advisor and he said, okay, hey, Chris, I want you to put this $1,500 in X, Y, and Z. And in the next 12 months, most likely you're going to get $5,000 back. I mean, people would jump on that. But if I said, hey, you know, I mean, and then that's the same percentage, I'm using a bigger number, but say, you know, okay, hey, reseller, you're going to put $15 into 50. It's the same exact percentage, but my mind has shifted entirely. It has, because again, if my stockbroker said, hey, you know, Ryan, I want you to put this stock costs $15, but in a year from now, it is trending to show that, you know, in the next year, you'll be able to sell that stock for $50. Mm-hmm. Man, I feel like somebody off of Wall Street, you know, I mean, I'm a financial wizard, but when I'm doing that with, like a t-shirt or, a sellable good, I don't view it the same way. Maybe I should.
Yeah, it's a little different than the stock market, I think, because the stock market, you're not sure if it'll go up or not. Like, you're pretty sure it will go up year over year, but in reselling, you can be super sure. And there's no labor in the stock market.
I'm just thinking undervalued stocks, right? You get there and you see Coca-Cola.
That's what we're buying.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, exactly.
So if we go back to text definition of reselling, which is a vehicle for multiplying money, right? Some of us are choosing stocks. Some of us are choosing bonds. Some of us are choosing items to resell. And some people buy Berkshire Hathaway for hundreds of thousands of dollars a share. And some people buy penny stocks, right? It just depends on your risk tolerance, what you know. Kristen asks, what length of show do I recommend for a new seller on Whatnot? So the most important thing on Whatnot is consistency of show schedule. So I would start probably with 25 items and then just go once a week and practice on the items that aren't that good. Try to have a couple of good pieces so people will stay around and learn what you can, but consistent show schedule is number one. Just like consistent listing schedule with eBay. Same on Poshmark Live, yes. Poshmark Live would be easier to dominate since there's so few people who do it well. And in general, there's a lot less Poshmark Lives for some reason. Yeah. Autumn, he's looking for 4,000 to 6,000 a day. Do I lose money on the first show? I think I've only lost money on shows that I've been testing. Like today, I'm going to sell 5 items because I want to figure out how much shipping is. Those shows I lost money, but anytime I had more than 20 items, I've never lost money on a Whatnot show. Because it's like the type of inventory needs to be different. It needs to be inventory that you buy below actual cash value, in my opinion. So as an example, Tanya Taylor, I think if I were to wholesale these dresses, I could probably get 20. Every single dress sells for over 50. I think somebody would pay 20 to sell for 50, right? That's how I treat Whatnot. Like I will never sell a dress for less than $15 on what it's like impossible because the value is so high. So, but if I were to list these on Poshmark or eBay, I would ask 75 to 125 every single dress. How many days of my show should I schedule it? I would go like every Thursday for a year, just so you can get into the cadence. And that's what I want people to do when they set their thrift route or their listing schedule. I was thinking about DoorDash versus reselling as a series. But the thing is, for me, because I look at it on a long-term scale, they both would earn money. Because if I was a DoorDash driver, I would drive at the same time every week. And as a reseller, I've always resell the same every week. Elisa, I would accept 50 if I listed it for 75 to 100. You can use DoorDash to build a store. I drove Uber in 2014 for 9 months. I made $100 before 9 in the morning every day. That was the best thing ever. Wake up, drive for 4 hours, make $100, come home. Your whole day is different if you've already made $100 by 9 a.m. You can focus a little bit more. When I was trying to build my business in the beginning, I did Facebook marketing and it was very hard and nobody wanted it. And I wasn't that good at it. So like, hey, I'm not that good at it. People were like, pass. Pretty much every single good store I went to, I was trying to sell to car dealerships, would be like, where's your proven history of kicking ass? I'm like, I don't have that yet. And they're like, well, you have to practice at some garbage store before you can come here. We don't test here. We only do things that work. So practice on a whole bunch of small stores, but I already made $100 a day. So I could at least pay rent, gas.
Chris, is there a collaborative, or would it be possible to do a collaborative whatnot in terms of 12 resellers in this group getting together and saying, we're going to do 3 shows a week. Sally, you've got Monday, Tom, you got Tuesday, and so forth. Would there be any advantage? I think we could maybe build an audience faster because we would have that many more windows into our products. I don't know. Does anybody do collaborative?
I've seen that before. So there's a stream called Kraken Hits, Kraken Hits. And their slogan is live for eternity. Okay. And they've been live for like a year and 3 months without ever taking a break. And it's because they have that set up. There's all these different sellers that use that account.
If we were to, assuming you got rid of all the roadblocks, like could we use the name?
Yeah.
If we did Nirvana group, something
Sure.
or other, could we do
Yeah.
it? Because my fear would be, I have 1,000 items in my store. I have probably 500 items laying around that I could whatnot, but I don't think I have enough to sustain. And also at FlipCon, somebody in the panel said, just be prepared if you start whatnot, you're going to probably lose money for 4 months. So don't forget to keep up your eBay business while you're doing it.
Yeah. It would take 4 months for the Reseller Nirvana thing to gain traction too.
But I'd only be losing money 1/4 of the time if I was one of 4 participants rather than 4 months.
Yeah, that's I also thought of another thing with that. The people who stream regularly do better than the people who stream once in a while.
Yeah.
So if you were streaming 1/4 of the time, but somebody else, our competition, streams 4 times, like let's say we have 4 different streamers that just use their slot every week, or let's say we have 20 streamers in the group and they all stream 1 slot per week. They're not going to be that good because I would rather like we get a Reseller Nirvana podcast team and that's all they do. And then everybody just sends them items and they do it because they would be pro streamers because they would do it all the time. If you only do it once every 4 days, you will not be good at it.
Well, is there anybody who is a talking head for, of course, you'd have to send them your product.
Yeah.
Could you, I'm trying to think of anything, Chris, where you could have a talking head that would participate with you doing your stream in your place. Like they would do. Oh.
Everyone that works for me is a talking head. They're professional hanging. I call it professional hanging out. That's what whatnot is. Professional hanging out. Do people want to hang out with you? Yes, that's a great start because that's what they're doing with you on the thing. Nobody wants to hang out with you. That's a problem for Whatnot. Huge problem, because it's a social talking to the crowd. Like, I interviewed, so my night crew, people are liking the night crew, and I got an email today or yesterday. I said, Chris, how did you find your night crew? And I was like, I interviewed 157 people to get 2. It's really hard to find people that can that people want to hang out with and have an interest. Sally, you'd be perfect though, because you have an interesting life. People 100% would hang out with you. If I were you and you wanted to do it, I would just do it once a week for a year. I wouldn't.
One other thing,
share
you
your glory.
mentioned today's topic is, what do we love about eBay?
Yeah.
I know we're kind of off topic right now, but I was thinking about it this whole, it takes me a while. I know exactly what I like about it, and I think maybe it resonates with other people. Today, more than perhaps any time I've lived through,
Yeah.
you do not have control over things. You can't control COVID. You can't control Congress. You can't control. This is one small area of my life. I can't control getting old. I can't, nothing, but I can control the universe that is my little eBay store. I can make it
Yes.
look like I want. I can make it talk like I want. So I think it gives people an area of that they can actually control at a time when control has become almost impossible in so many things.
I mean, preach. That's the best thing ever. I agree with you. You can control inside your store everything, every little thing, where you put your pen, how you write your title. You can do whatever you want. You don't have
I
to.
don't like that blue dress. It ain't going up.
That's right. Yeah, you don't have to put it in your store. You can set it on fire. You could do whatever you want to do. There's
And film
no
it if you
rules.
set it on fire and put it on Whatnot and you get an audience.
Yeah.
Thanks, Chris.
Yeah. But that's more interesting than just, I'm trying to get rid of some stuff today. That is how can you open your Whatnot with that? People do that. I'm here to
Could
sell
you
stuff.
do so like, I'm going to sell this. If it doesn't sell, I'm going to throw gas on it and light it on fire right here, right now.
Yeah. Scott calls his store Toy World. It's their world of collectibles. That's interesting because it could be your world too, your world and their world. Toys are huge business.
Remember the guy who made a bunch of money smashing watermelons? Are you too young?
Gallagher.
Yeah, Gallagher.
Yeah.
Why did I watch him? Because I want to watch him smashing out a watermelon.
I
Maybe.
love Gallagher. Yeah, that's great.
So Gallagher, your Whatnot channel, when you're during that first 4 months when you're going to lose money anyway.
So I got a thing for you guys. Gallagher, he's known for smashing watermelons. I don't know if any of you have heard of him, but you only need to be good at one thing. You don't need a million niches. You just need one. Every single niche, there's someone in the group doing well. Mary, I didn't realize you're in the morning call. Mary won a MacBook from me on my Whatnot. It's coming, by the way. But that's like, you only need to be known for one thing. It's probably gonna get there Friday. Yeah, it's interesting. Only need to be good at one niche, and I'm just grateful for it because I've learned so much about. I think Catherine, between what Catherine and Sally said, is the reason I'm most grateful. You learn something every day, a lot of things. Some days you learn a lot, and then other jobs are just, you can't choose your destiny. Sally, you could have twice as big of a store and twice as much knowledge and totally change the outcome of your store or of your income versus a job. You can't take on twice the responsibility. Yeah, if you're known for selling one thing, that's all you need. If you're known for selling everything, though, what do your friends bring you? Anything. Junk. Scott says junk. Yeah, if you're known for selling everything, they bring you junk. Can you turn this into some money? Thank you. Yeah. I wonder when people are doing their advertising, do they know what they're saying out loud? Hey, Chris, my store is really struggling with sell-through rate. It's all messed up, and the items I purchased were all bad. Would you like to buy all the items from me so I can start over fresh? It's like, no. Why would you present it like that? Who taught you sales? Benji?
Mine is completely off topic. I just
Go
want to
ahead.
make a question for anyone. Anyone know anything about Armani Jeans Indigo 002 series?
That is so specific. What
I
is
know.
it?
It's basically it's this.
Armani?
Where am I?
What is it again?
It's Indigo 002 series. It seems to be vintage, but I'm not 100% sure.
So it looks like there's 001 through 009 from a search on eBay. So that one must be a specific series.
What do they mean though? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
What do they want?
Like, what do they actually mean? Like, what information do they give me? That's what I was looking for. I didn't know if anyone was a jean. I'm sure we have some jeans experts somewhere.
Let's see.
No idea. I also found, this is my first time finding this, which is like I think Tex talked about it before, but Polo High Tech.
Nice.
Shame it wasn't like one of the nicer jackets or crazy things, but still really good. Happy with that. Also, so do you say what we actually said about what we love about eBay? I missed the topic of the call, but generally, what people's opinions? What's been said?
Do you have something that you like about eBay?
I mean, I think there's loads of stuff about eBay to love, but I also think there's some things not to like, but that's besides the point. But in terms of job freedom, interest, and earning capability, it like ticks every box realistically.
Yeah. Basically, people don't like the grind.
I don't even think it's a grind.
Yeah, but that's the main thing they don't like. The grind of like having to find new items every day, list new items every day. The things that people enjoyed are flexible schedule, unlimited income potential. A lot of people enjoy learning new things every day.
So we don't like doing the job, is what we're saying.
Yes, sometimes having to do it every day consistently, but doing it occasionally, everybody wants it. I think everyone resells occasionally, but to do it as your job is a little.
I think that's the same with everything, though. Like even like it. So you're talking about influencers yesterday, right?
Yeah.
And you're saying every child wants to be an influencer.
Yeah.
And you were talking because they want to influence. They don't want to do it because they want to influence anything. They do it because they see influencers doing the things they enjoy and getting paid for it, right? Like video gaming, going shopping, blah blah blah, all this stuff. But when you're an influencer, and your whole mindset changes around how you do anything. Yeah. And it's all got to be for, can I do this for content? How am I going to make this into content? Blah 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 blah. And suddenly the fun gets sucked out of everything.
100%.
Because you're doing it all because it's your job now. You have to do it every day. You don't get to choose when and when not to do it. I guess you got a bit more freedom because a lot of them are a lot richer, so they don't need to work as hard. But look at Mr. Beast. Like Mr. Beast, the biggest YouTuber in the world, grinds his ass off. Like he is nonstop busy all the time doing everything. He doesn't even have time to enjoy what he's doing. No. He's just on to one thing to the next. He's so busy. Yeah. And I think that's going to be the same with pretty much any job that's quote unquote enjoyable. If it's your job, there's still going to be a grind aspect to it. You still have to do that. But imagine grinding something you didn't enjoy. Like imagine going to work every day in your cubicle and just stamping stuff and being bored.
Well, how many people here love reselling? Like you like doing it? Like, I think you have to like doing it. Otherwise, how can you, Benji's right. How can you really do it if you don't like it? But like, I was listening to Casey Neistats talk about his 800 days of vlogging in a row. And he's like, this is what YouTube looks like. So if you're a YouTuber all day, you're just looking, is this the right thing to say? Is it the right, the whole day is that's a grind, right? If you're walking around, every single thing is keywords to you. I mean, obviously you enjoy it, but it is, it takes on a whole different personality when you're Mr. Beast and you sleep in the office. But the thing I think is really cool about him is he's recently gotten into really good shape. And it's because he put the weight set right next to his bed. So he just wakes up and works out. That is really smart. So everyone here, if you had to list 5 items before you use the bathroom in the morning, you would never miss. I want that. If you live in the Daily Refinement reseller house, when you wake up, you got to do your listing goal before you can use the bathroom. No one would ever miss.
I feel like that gets dangerous though. Because I literally, I do it to myself. I'm like, I'm gonna finish this before I can eat, and I'll be there for hours when I'm starving, and it is like counterproductive because I'm so hungry I can't do things properly. But I can't fit. I got to finish before I eat.
Yeah, no, that's Tech says that they're really one of the main ways to piss him off is to interrupt him before he's done finishing something. I feel that though. When you're grinding, I feel like if you take a break to eat, it might add another 2-3 hours to it. But I see the flip side too. You're just starving the whole time. What do you guys think? Eat after, or if you're really hungry, eat right away. Eat before, so you're not distracted by the hunger. Eat after. Eat first, then work. Okay.
But we're talking like in the flow, right? So you've eaten your breakfast, yeah, and then you've got the stretch between breakfast and then whenever you never have your next meal, be it lunch or like a snack in the afternoon or whatever, and you end up hungry like halfway through that time period, but you're about like 3/4 of your way through work.
Yeah.
Do you stop and eat, or do you do the last quarter of your work like starving?
Trevor.
Okay, I have a question. It's not super unrelated, but
Go ahead.
what advice would you give someone that's like lacking motivation to do something like say like they're super burnt out from just doing the job, because that can easily happen to anybody.
Yeah, I think it's the way to increase motivation is to increase clarity on what you're trying to do. So if you don't know exactly what to do, it's, in my opinion, super easy to lose motivation. But if you're like, I need to build a 2,000 item store of all, or let's say 500 item store of all these kinds of items, and that will produce the life that I want, that to me, you won't lose motivation. But if it's unclear or you don't believe it, like, I think that's the main driver here. If you guys start to see it work and hey, at this level, this is going to happen, you won't lose motivation. It's when people do things and the result's not what they wanted. That's the biggest motivation killer. You get to 100 items, you're still not selling anything. You might just quit reselling. But you got to be patient while you're building that up and believe. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think because I have like this whole notebook full of stuff of just kind of like when I'm gonna hit certain things. I'm trying to find it, but I don't know, not important. But I do think that does help. But yeah, sometimes
I also think your goal might not be exciting enough.
Yeah, no, I think my end goal I think is pretty exciting. The only issue I think I have is mine's more health related issues though. So I'm not really in control of that currently. But yeah, I do think having a good goal definitely helps.
So do you think hey, I'm going to work as efficiently as I can when I am feeling good? How do you approach that?
It's tough. Well, I'm getting it figured out. A lot of like sleep issues.
Sure.
Yeah, mostly when I'm feeling good, I'll stick to, right now I'm doing 15 a day where I'll bank 5. And then I'll I have a whole schedule, 8 hours usually. And but there'll be like 3 days in a row where I'll be almost too exhausted to even get out of bed. I still do it, but yeah, my work gets pretty badly impacted.
Yeah.
But no, when I do feel good, which is probably about 90-80% of the time, I do think I get a lot done. But yeah, I don't know. I think maybe it's just figuring out the issues, which, not super in my control, but I do want to be more consistent.
How do you guys deal with being motivated? This would be a good topic to end the call on. I think that having a routine and schedule helps you stay on pace, because then you don't have to worry about it as much. You just do it at that time each day. But I got super sick when my daughter went to childcare for the first time. She brought back something that was insane. It was like way worse than COVID for me. And that being that sick, I was like, you know what? Maybe one day in the future, I'm going to be sick. So I just try to make hay. I've been for like maybe 2 years in a row on work as hard as I can when I have time, because I just feel like you may not always have time. So I'm just grateful that I can work really hard right now, and try not to take it for granted, because you can easily have a health issue where you can't work at all, so easily, or an intermittent one, which is even more frustrating. Like sometimes you can't work. So I just think I got to be ahead. I need a little bit more. I'll be ahead of where I need to be so that I don't have to be behind. James has a house over his head. No other motivation required. I know. James, how do you stay so grateful in a world of instant gratification?
I think coming from 13 years of recruitment and seeing what that done to me as a person, and then going to be in complete full control of my destiny in a way. And that is the thing with eBay. We are all in complete control of what we do. No one forces us to buy anything. No one forces us not to list. No one forces us to overprice things. We are in complete control. And by God, by no means am I perfect in all this, especially when it comes to like the liquidation stuff, overpricing items and counter offering for £1 extra and all of that stuff. I've been there and done it. But for me, what motivates me and what I love about eBay is that complete control, and I'm in charge of my own destiny. If I want to earn more money, I've got to get better at sourcing, because that's where the journey begins. And it's all down to me. No one's going to do it for me. It's all down to me. So yeah, my motivation, if I want to grow something big, yeah, it's simply that. It's down to me. We know everything from being in this group how to do it, and now it's down to us to do it.
So let me ask you, James, and maybe after you, I'll go to Trevor again. But they had this thing on, Mel Robbins posted these motivational things. And the thing that was voted the most motivational was, no one is going to save you. And I don't, that's kind of negative, but I'm not, but that was voted as the #1 most motivating thing.
I agree. It's true. At the end of the day, unless you and Tech are going to fly here to the garage, and I know you've got plans next year to come to the UK, you can come and see where I work, and your bathroom's probably bigger than where I work in, to be honest. Yeah. Unless you come and do that for me on a daily basis, I'm not going to be able to list items. So it is down to us. And I appreciate for some people when they have health issues, it's difficult. But for me, this job's the dream job if I had health issues, because you can do it whenever you want. The days when you're feeling great, you can do a bit extra. And the days where you're not feeling so great, you've got the backup. And you haven't got to ring up a boss and tell them you can't come in because you're not feeling well. You are in full control. So yeah, I love it for that.
Trevor, is that motivating for you, or is it depressing? Because it was like, I'm surprised that was #1.
I mean, that's motivating. I definitely know that based on my experiences in life, that definitely no one's coming to help you. And yeah, just which makes me want to work harder. because I used to think when I was younger that maybe someone was, but no. I mean, like, you're on your own, which is fine. But I think someone said something in the chat that John said something in the chat about having sleep apnea, which is what I have. They said that you basically wasn't getting sleep at all. Which I'm hoping that once I do have that figured out, that maybe that'll just be the end all and that's the situation. But for the time being, would you suggest on days that I'm actually, more awake,
Yeah.
that I do more listings in my draft bank, just so
Yeah.
like, do you think that's a good idea?
That's what Jared recommended, and I agree with that. That makes that's the rainy day fund that you need if you have health issues, or I mean, even if you don't have health issues.
Yeah, I think, okay, so I was just trying to make sure it's like not a bad idea to like, because I don't know that I'd really get burnt out if I did like say 30 items in a day on a day I feel good, because I know I can do that. I could consistently do that if I wasn't tired. But yeah, that's kind of what I was kind of just throwing around in my head, is that maybe I just do more on days that I'm actually have the energy to do it.
Yeah, that's all you can do. Kayla?
I've had to tell myself that my feelings are valid, but at the end of the day, they don't matter, especially in business. Like,
Yeah,
feelings are feelings, and feelings lie to you. So at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter what I'm feeling. I just have to do it.
I think that's right too. You have to accept your feeling and then realize it doesn't matter. Because like if you're talking to a toddler and you're like, you're okay, but they're not okay, that's not helping. If you say like, I know you're feeling bad right now, then you validate them and they're like, oh yeah, but we still have to go. You know what I mean? And that is better than it's okay when it's not okay to them. And then I mean, it's like you accept and move on, I think that's exactly right. So right.